Eastern Kentucky, where I was raised, where the wildlife and mountains call my name. I was born to hunt, I was born to guide, a camouflage on a rifle by my side. Just good old country boys chasing dreams in the Appalachian Mountains, fields and streams. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks that are on the run. Where those dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. The coyotes run all night. It's music to my ears and in my sights. I've got this hunting fever down in my bones. I'm glad my daddy taught me everything I know. From those white-tailed bucks to strutting toms, the bugling elks that are on the run. Where dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. From those white-tailed bucks to strutting toms, the bugling elks that are on the run. Where dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. The TLC Outfitter is our name.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday night. Welcome to On Air and Outdoor with TLC Outfitters. My name is Trinity Shepherd, and we're joined tonight not by Matt. He's away on some family stuff, but we're joined tonight. You hear from him every week on our comments, and you've heard so many good stories about adventures we've had with him down in Florida, Mr. Wayne Hargabus. Wayne, thanks for taking time to be with us tonight.
Hey, enjoy being here, buddy.
Yeah, man. Lots of great things going on down in Florida. Of course, if you are a turkey guru, everybody knows their thoughts and minds are down in the Sunshine State as turkey season is on down there. And we got some pictures to show everybody. We'll get to that in just a moment. We appreciate everybody tuning in. If you've not done so, please like and share this video. Get the word out there about all things on air and outdoors. Man, just to kind of give everybody perspective on how the weather is down there. How was this weekend's weather down there in Florida?
It's typical Florida weather this weekend. You know, it'd be in the 60s at night and 82, 83, 84 during the day. Had a cold front come through yesterday, and it was 63 today for the high and going down to 38 tonight.
And, man, if you've never been hit by the Florida cold, it's a different kind of cold. I mean, it is, 40 degrees down there is like 10 up here. I mean, it is the coldest thing. It's that wet, moist cold, and it just hits you pretty hard.
Yes, it does. I mean, you can't get warm from it, it seems like. It chills you to the bone.
That's right. Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. First thing I want to say one big congratulations to the McGoffin County Hornets, my high school alma mater, for making it to the Sweet 16 boys state tournament for the first time ever in school history. We're so excited. I'm representing tonight right here. First round action tomorrow at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. We're going to be right there and cheering on the Hornets as they take on the Perry Central Commodores. So we're pretty excited. Hope they have a good run. I mean, it was a great 15th region tournament, and we're pretty excited. Once again, congratulations and good luck to the McGoffin County Hornets. We got some folks on with us tonight. Our good buddy Corey Evans is on. Says good on, still on, brother. Said God bless Matt. Gator Paul Trinity, who is your ugly guest? Gator Paul, I'm not getting in that fight, buddy.
Just tell him I know where he lives.
That's right. And our number one fan, my mama says hello. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate it so much. Now we had our second annual Upland Tower shoot, but before we get to that, let's talk about this right here, man. I mean, one Osceola is a great day. Two Osceolas in hand. I mean, that's unheard of. You want to talk about this right here?
Yeah, that was a guy that came down from Indiana and hunted with me this weekend. Never shot an Osceola. He thought they gobbled like the Easterns do, and they don't. He learned a lesson there. But make a long story short, we hunted all day Saturday. Saw birds everywhere, but they were hand up and they were quiet. They weren't hardly talking. Next day, Sunday morning, they were talking a lot better, and we actually found two that ran to the decoy and a calling and right in, and he was like, "It's legal, so I'm going to take both of them right now." And the longest spurs were 1.25 inches on the one, and they both had 9-inch beards, except for one of them had 2 hairs or 3 hairs on his beard that went to 14 inches.
Wow.
So nice. They very nice, probably 3-year-old birds.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see they're pretty hefty birds. So congratulations, man. And way to go. That's pretty awesome. A lot of jealous folks right there for that. That's to have 2 Osceolas in hand. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to get this a recap of this Upland shoot out of the way here in just a moment. We got some other folks. Our good buddy Jeff Hill from West Virginia says hello. Hey, Jeff. Hope you and yours is doing well. Our good old buddy Justin Tinsley from Tinsley Custom Wildlife. Hope you and Christy are doing very well. And our buddy from 3R Archery, Randy Newsom, says, my favorite time is coming. I know you all like to lay the thump on some big on long beards. And we're pretty excited to see what you come up with, Randy. It's going to be pretty awesome. We had our, you heard us talk about it for some time now. We had our Upland Tower shoot. It went over without a hitch. I got a lot of pictures to show. We're going to get to Wayne. Wayne's going to be talking to us about turkey tactics as we keep on with turkey season coming up. We've got youth season coming up the first weekend in April. Headed towards the main season for Kentucky. Season is open in Florida right now. So Florida's really neat because you can get an eastern north of Gainesville, south of Gainesville. You can get Osceola, and it's just fantastic hunting down there. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Of course, we got to thank our partners, as always, with our Upland Tower shoot. We got Drains Unlimited and Noble Coal. We appreciate them so much for partnering up with us. May Towing. And you can't have any kind of tower shoot without the porta potty from Yancey's Septic. Yancey's Septic. So thank you to all of our partners for making this year's tower shoot absolutely phenomenal. It was great, man. It was a good turnout. What happens in a tower shoot? I tell people that it's kind of like a pay pond for catfish, except you're sitting around with shotguns. And, we're releasing birds at random. We had some tagged money birds, who were shot that, got the tag. We had a little money prize at the end. And it's just a good day to come out, some good shooting, target shooting, and to fill the freezer. Every hunter went away with some freezer fire, some good eating. You can see here, Matt has got one of the hen pheasants there, and his better half Jill's got one of the roosters. And basically, you're just releasing these birds. Now we'll watch Matt right here as he fights with one of these old pheasants. And listen, they beat you to death. I mean, they are some of the best flying pheasants I've ever seen.
Stupid things.
And then, of course, the shooting commences. So it's just a really good day. got some pictures here, and I'll have to upload a bunch more. One of our good buddies and his father-in-law. This is Tyler Smith and his father-in-law Vince. There that came and shot with us. Kevin and Logan Shepard, some of our neighbors, came out to Gunlock Hollow. Some new arrivals this year: Frank Sr. And Frank Jr. and his son-in-law there came to be with us. We appreciate them very much for coming out. Corey and Hayden Terry, our very own guys, coming and shot with us this year. And I love to see these father-son teams, man. It's nothing like getting the family out and having a great day of shooting. Another father and son team. This is my little cousin, Dakota, with his dad, Byron. Have to bear with me just a minute. These things sometimes have a mind of their own. I'm missing one picture. Do they do upland shoots down there where you all are?
Not in my general area. I've heard of them doing them down kind of South Florida a little bit on some of the hunting preserves, but I don't know of any close by here.
Right. Ben and Maddox, our very own Ben and Maddox Moore, another father and son team. So, man, just a huge congratulations to all the hunters that come out. We appreciate them very much. It's a good time, to say the least. Let's see, I've got some more pictures right here. Bear with me. Me and technology don't always shuck and jive together.
Oh, I'm lost with it.
Let's see. Here we go. Here's the finished product at the end of the day. Of course, it says it's processing. There we go. Group photo at the end of the day. We released 155 birds, and we had a total harvest of 82 birds, and that means 73 got away. So, and I appreciate your all's comments. I'm going to pop them up here in just a few moments. So there's the group without the sign. Of course, we had to get one. You know how we roll. We got to make sure that we get some branding in there. So we had one with the sign. As soon as it loads up here. Showing TLC Outfitters and Gunlock Hollow. Man, just a good time. A lot of good help. A lot of good shooting. Safe, fun day. Just fantastic day. Really, we really enjoy this. We get just as much enjoyment as the hunters do. And you can't rule out, what happens afterward. You got to clean all those pheasants. So even Matt's better half Jill right there, Miss Jill Woolwine, got in on the cleaning action. We clean them all up. We bag them all up and send them with the hunters. Everybody gets to take some home with them. Let's see. And let's not forget I told you about those money birds. We tag these birds up and we give away different money prizes. Different colored bands means different things. And as you can see there, the Jeffries went home with some money birds right there, a little cash in hand. I think they had two. They had a $25 pheasant each. And then the big winner of the day was little Maddox Moore. And he got one of the $50 birds. And that's Maddox, Ben's son. And then we had 3 birds harvested and 3 money birds that got away. So that was good for me, bad for them. But, just the way it goes sometimes. And I think that. I think that was it. So, man, just can't say thank you enough to our partners, to everybody that comes out and supports us. I mean, it's just a great day and some great country right there. Misty Shepherd, that was her husband and son, Kevin and Logan, said we had an awesome time. We appreciate them coming out. And Philip, thank you all so much. My mom was there, says great for the youth. Wish more could get involved. We hope that happens over the next year. And Nate, our good buddy, our very own Nate and Amber Bentley, which has some fantastic dogs. They got to be with us last year, but due to other scheduling, he didn't get to be with us this year. So glad you had a good turnout. Wishing I could have made. You were definitely missed. We were asked where you were by everybody there that remembered last year, and we appreciate you very much, man. Charles Robinson asked what it costed. It had different prices for what you want to do. We had an individual price. We had a team price. Prices include, of course, the hunt, included box lunch, included, if you needed transportation to from the field, and all field care for you to be able to take it home. I think this year's prices, it was $250 for an individual, $450 for a team. So. And Miss Tiffany says, hello, all. Hello. Better half of our very own Nathan Gerald. So hope y'all are doing good. Man, I know you're ready to get to some of this talk. Not these upland birds, but these big these bigger species, these turkeys. So let me ask you a question. I asked the guys last week, and leading up to turkey season, I'm gonna ask this to everybody that comes on the show. The big question or the big thing in the whole turkey world right now is where our population's at. Are we in decline? Are we something else going on? What have you seen in Florida? Do you feel that you've seen a decline? Where do you think the turkey population is as far as your neck of the woods goes?
I think the woods, they seem to be holding their own for the last, 15, 20 years here. They're pretty much holding their own. One year to the next, you may have, a few less than you did the year before and whatever. And then they seem to bounce back. And that has something to do with the hatches and, the weather during hatch, if you got rain or a lot of predators and stuff like that. This year, my bird population seems down a little bit, but birds are there. You just got to work harder for them. It's not like you're hunting on a turkey farm or anything where, some years you look out at a field and every field you see birds. This year, it's about half of that. But I've seen it go up and down like that every year. So I think they're holding their own in my neck of the woods here.
Yeah. It seems that where we hunt at down there with you, that there's a healthy population of birds. It seems like everywhere you look down there or everywhere you go and hunt, there's opportunity there. And that's pretty exciting. So I love to hear that. I know other states are experiencing different things with the population, and that can be to various things, but that's good news to hear, man. That is excellent news to hear. So you've already had a great youth season. We had some photos from our buddy Scott Sumter down there. I know you all had a fantastic youth hunt. As always, y'all do so many good things for the youth hunters down there.
Well, our FWC youth hunt comes up in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
2 weeks. Yep. That one comes up in 2 weeks. And youth season's over, but they just hunt the regular season then. And we have this one block of this weekend set out for them. And population is really good. We're expecting, out and a lot of birds harvested, hopefully, that weekend.
Yep. You'll have to check back in with us and let us know how it goes.
Awesome.
Now, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll definitely send you some pictures on that. And Scott will too. Scott will be there helping and everything else. So it's a team effort and the kids should do well. Yeah.
And for those of y'all watching that maybe haven't seen or heard us talk about Wayne, I don't know how you couldn't have, because he is he's taking us on a lot of adventures when we go to Florida. But Wayne is a retired FWC officer. And then when we talk about Scott Sumter, he's an active FWC officer. And then you hear about our good friend John Partain that once upon a time was a FWC officer. So, Florida's finest right here. We appreciate everything you've done and continue to do, especially for the youth and the resources. And, of course, Scott's out there doing as we speak. So we appreciate you all for protecting the things we love to take part in, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's talk about turkey tactics, man. I mean, you consistently there's those guys, it's like I see some folks on here like Randy Newsom and some of our buddies up here. You're one of those guys down there. That guys are going to consistently lay the hammer on some turkeys. If you could only give, I kind of want to lead in with this. If you could only give one piece of advice to maybe a turkey hunter, new turkey hunter, whatever else, about turkey hunting in general for success, what would it be?
If you can go ahead of time, scout. That means more than calling or anything else. If you can't go ahead of time, in other words, you're from out of state, you got a piece of property, somebody said, hey, come on, hunt it for a trespass fee. Go out there and do some walking the first day, listening and scouting. Look for tracks, strut marks, dust bowls, all that stuff. And once you're in the area for turkeys, then you start turkey hunting.
Yeah. And that's what we said last week about how important scouting is. We put a lot of time and effort into scouting for deer, for scouting for elk, doing different things like that. But I think sometimes scouting goes to the wayside. We wait till opening morning, go out, and it's all changed from what's happened over the last 5 or 10 years, and we get frustrated with it. So scouting is a big part, just like any other species. Scouting is a big part of turkey hunting, especially it can lead to a lot more success for you.
You can't kill them if they're not there.
That's right.
That's right. Hurt if they're not there.
And you can spend a lot of time in those opening days trying to find them when you could have put a little time in while season was out and enjoy your hunt more being on turkeys when season comes in.
Oh, yeah. Well, a couple of years ago when I went up Kentucky and I was your guest up there and you put me on some properties, never seen the properties before. When, get out there in the morning, you said, hey, this area's good. And some areas didn't have the sign, but you may go a quarter mile away and there they are because they will move around.
Yep, that's exactly right. So what about, would you say it's early season down there in Florida, just kind of opened?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're still henned up, a lot of them, which makes it tougher. In a couple weeks after a lot of hens get bred and, the gobblers start breaking off in the afternoon, a lot easier to call them in. But right now, we saw numerous birds that, ignored us. Why leave your girlfriend here for one that's possibly over there that you hear, but you don't see? And even if you see it, you got 7 or 8 of them here. So it's tough hunting when they're henned up.
That's right. Now, how does your tactics change over season? Like, your early season tactics to your late season tactics. Do you think that as they get pressured and called to more, it's common sense. We know they're going to get a little tougher in that sense, but how does your tactics change as far as late season to early season to mid and late season?
They don't change a whole lot other than following the birds, see where they're going, and take their temperature. Some birds, if they're very aggressive, you get aggressive back with them. If they're quiet birds, you may have to pussyfoot with them a little bit, But whenever I hear a bird, I try to go to it as far as to a certain distance. Once you get in their bedroom, kind of like anything else, just like predator hunting, you get closer and call them. They're like, hey, somebody's in my bedroom. And same thing when you're calling turkeys. It's a girl hen going to the gobbler. And they're like, coming to me. So, if you meet them halfway, so my tactics pretty much stay the same all year. Actually, I might get a little more aggressive because the gobblers are out on their own looking later in the season.
Yeah. Now, we say it all the time. Don't be a turkey caller, be a turkey hunter.
Yes.
How important is it to not only rely on calling tactics? Now there's some days, and we know how it is. You can hunt every day, and every day you have to use a different tactic to try to be successful. But as far as calling to hunting, what would you say about calling turkey?
Calling turkeys, it's, they're not always going to respond. So you need to hunt them also, just like I was explaining, as far as the scouting for them. You can scout if you're from out of state when you first get there and look for sign. Once you're in the area, you find strut zones and everything else, and they're going to come through eventually. You may have to deer hunt some turkeys because they're not responding that time of season, like the last week of the season. A lot of times they just don't respond to anything. So you almost have to deer hunt them and just, find the areas they're going to and then hunt them that way.
Right. Yep. Now, so many times we're asked, by new hunters, well, I'm new to calling turkey. How do I call a turkey? So what's a common, and I love what you said there. I actually see a t-shirt kind of flash before my eye with what you said there. You said you got to take its temperature. What do you mean by that? So what's a common calling sequence for you that you're going to use more than any other time? So you start out with this and you kind of finish with that. What may that look like?
I'm trying to locate a bird. I'm doing loud yelps and cutting, and that will fire them off a lot of times. We're just soft yelps. They will not answer that, especially these Osceolas. These Osceolas are by nature quiet compared to Eastern. Yeah, and they're just a more quiet bird. So if I'm trying to walk, in other words, run and gun, walking through the woods, I listen to everything, start yelping and cutting at the same time, and that will fire them off more than anything else. And then if they keep answering that, good. But sometimes they'll answer at one time and start coming to you silent. So do not move if they answer you, in the afternoon or even in mornings like that. And if they're not cutting you off every time, slow down, don't call as much, and just do some soft yelps and maybe some purrs. Yeah. And be patient. It may take them half hour, 45 minutes. They may be there in 2 minutes. You just don't have. They'll come in silent all the time, these birds.
Sit as long as you can and wait another 15 to 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's how I locate them. That's how I usually start off my hunt. Of course, if I'm in a blind first thing in the morning, I know they're roosted in the area. You do your soft tree yelps and you don't do the cutting, everything.
Yep. Now, do you prefer any type of call over another?
I use them all. I like a slate, but I seem to have them answer when I'm doing my cutting, trying to locate a bird, either as a mouth call, which, the diaphragm, which takes a lot of practice, and I still choke on it. Sometimes I'm like, that is the sickest sounding turkey I've ever heard. He'll start squeaking, but they'll answer it. I mean, wild turkeys, they don't sound like you see in these calling contests. And on windy days, I'll definitely use a box call. They're out and the sound carries.
Right. That's right. That's right. As far as locating, we're kind of talking about all aspects here. As far as locating, how do you go about, like, when you go out, it's before daylight, you're looking to roost these birds. How are you going to do that, and how tied in are you going to get?
It depends on the terrain. If you got wide open pastures or clear cuts and they roost on the edge of it, you may not, unless you come in from the backside, and sometimes you can. It may be another piece of property. You may have to be 200 or 300 yards away, but generally, I try to get within 100 yards of a roosted bird and sit down a good 30 minutes before the sun even comes up, get quiet, because there's a lot of times some birds will move their trees. And I've actually sat on our trees, and next thing you know, come daybreak, one's gobbling in my tree right above my head, or the hens are yelping everything. And I've been so quiet before. Sometimes they pitch right down, and other times they're like, they saw me move, got busted.
Yep. And a lot of times that old gobbler, he'll see you move and he'll still gobble.
Oh yeah.
But, he's not coming your way. If he sees anything he don't like, he's not coming your way.
They will still gobble, and then, like you said, when it comes time to pitch down, they go the other way.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Now, we all of us has got different days we like to hunt, or so we say, man, this is the perfect day for turkey hunting for us, weather wise. What's Wayne's perfect hunting day? If you could handpick the weather tomorrow, what would it be?
Well, in Florida, of course, it's different than where you're at, So the real cold mornings, I haven't seen a lot of activity, but you get 60 degrees at night and, clear sunny days that aren't too windy. You can hear them. That's about the best. Rainy days, you have to be in the open because these birds do not go in the woods on rainy days. If they live in an area where there's open fields and stuff, that's going to be on rainy, even some windy days like that.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
like because they can't hear or see predators. So they get in the open.
Yep. That's the way it is here too. I think a lot of times people will go out and it'll be, conditions won't be ideal and they won't have a whole lot of success roosting a bird, or they don't get out there as early as they like and they get real frustrated. I mean, we've seen it where we went out and it's not been a good roost morning, but those turkeys hit the ground and it may be 9 o'clock, but man, them turkeys fire up. So that's another thing. A lot of folks want to go out and they want to be done by 7:30, 8 o'clock. Well, who don't want to be done and have a turkey in the truck?
I'll do.
But if you can hang out to that 11 o'clock hour, because what I see a lot of times, them turkeys will fly down. You might be able to get between them and the hens or manipulate 1, 2, or whatever else, but they're going to get with the hens. And then they're pretty well done till mid-morning. If you can hang in there to 11, 12, even sometimes 1, 2 o'clock,
that's your best time.
That's your best time. And if you're heading out of the woods at 8:30 to go get food and to whatever, you're missing the best part of the hunt.
Yep. It may not be the best, but it's one of the best. I mean, you got your early morning hunt, like you get it between the hens, or they all pitch down and happen to come your way. You sit there and scout them, and you see them pitch down in the field and go the same way every day. So okay, so you're there.
Yeah.
And later in the morning, they will breed them hens and then start looking for new hens. And the ones we got the other day, that's about what happened. About 9:30 in the morning is when two gobblers come out by themselves.
Yep. And you can always mushroom hunt up here. I know you can't do that really down there where you're at, but you can always mushroom hunt when the turkey hunt's bad.
There you go. Yeah, if you might be on a little trip.
Yeah. Gator Paul says, I got some of my best birds in the middle of the day.
And I believe.
Yeah. I got a story one time where I got on a bird at 11 o'clock and he was a long way away, man. But that bird stayed right in the same spot, strutting back and forth. And I stuck with that bird and got on him at 11, started after him at 11. And I shot that bird at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
And, he was way up on top of a point, big high mountain. And he knew he was an older bird, 3-4 year old. And he had everything around him pegged, and I had to go skirt all the way around underneath, come up behind him, and then get in on him. And he frustrated me so bad, I actually went past him, had to sit down and turn around and come back a little bit, and I got him finally to come. Just luck, just absolutely, absolute luck that I got that bird. John Chris said,
you worked hard and you had patience.
Yep, took a lot of patience. John Pruitt says, how long do you wait in between calling if they don't answer? That's a great question. So if you're calling a bird, say you're deer hunting for a turkey, it's one of those days, no gobbles, they're not, the temperature's not hot.
Right.
How long are you waiting in between calling sequences?
And then some days they do not talk at all. And these Osceolas are famous for that. I'll go out there. Of course, I've scouted and see the tracks, the strut marks, holes. get a nice place in the shade, and I call about every 20 minutes. Every 15 to 20 minutes, some light yelps, and then about 3 or 4 of those, say 3, in other words, every 45 minutes, I'll do some cutting and see what happens. And there's been numerous times I've been there for 45 minutes to an hour. A bird will show up totally silent. And he's coming to call because he's coming right to my spot. And other times you'll sit there and call for, half hour, 45 minutes. And all of a sudden, towards the end, he gobbles right next to you. It's like, so they can hear you and they'll come quietly. So I'll wait 15, 20 minutes between calling sequences. And, like I said, I don't always do the cutting because they don't always want to hear that. So I'll do some regular yelps and purrs, and then I'll throw in some cuttings about every, 2 or 3 times.
And, with this question right here, I really like this. One of the best teachers for calling is when you get a hen out in front of you and you just listen to her and you see how she does. Sometimes we overthink things and we're like, you can't call too much. You're over calling. You're not calling enough. Man, I've seen hens that have came in and have called. I mean, I don't know how they're breathing. They're calling so much.
Right.
Then I've seen hens not call at all. And then I've seen hens call, but then they get so low with these little clucks and purrs and chirp and, but they never hush, but it's not that loud aggressive. So,
right.
But I think overall what you said there, if it's a low action day and as you said, you got to take the temperature. So, that you don't have anything hot. I think you gotta sit there and be patient. You got to deer hunt for them. You got to use that call as a tool, every 15, 20 minutes. And you never know, you may sit there long enough and it may be a bad day, but you may fire a bird up.
Oh, yeah.
That wouldn't have fired up without your calling, and then you can really get in there and start working on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Amy Hughes says Sean has always got his later in the day. Matt and I have talked about all the time. We goof off and give each other a hard time because I always want to get out there, at the crack of dawn, well before daylight. And he's like, why can't we sleep in till 9 o'clock and be out there at 10 o'clock? Both of those strategies are actually pretty good strategies. If you're hindered by whatever when it comes to turkey season, even if you work and you can't hunt till mid-afternoon, evening, we've killed a lot of birds mid-afternoon and even in the evening. I always say if you can find a turkey that will gobble to you in the evening time, that post 3 o'clock, if you can find a bird, not a location, not a shot gobble, but if you can get one that will consistently answer a call, you'll kill that bird the majority of the time.
Yes. And if not, if it's late enough in the evening, where he's roosting the next day because he's going to be right in that area.
That's right. Do not discount mid-afternoon and evening hunts. If that's all you got, be out there. That's for sure. Gator Paul says, I found you can overcall, need to play the bird that's there at the time. And that's right. Whatever that closest bird's doing, you may hear birds off in the distance, but it doesn't matter. You need to play, and call and hunt the bird that's closest to you. And that's going to give you the greatest chance for success.
100%.
Yeah.
Temperature, just like I said.
Got to take their temperature, man. I love that. That's pretty awesome. Hey, what are we missing, man? We've covered a lot of things. Let me ask you this. You're out in the middle of the day. How much are you using a locator call versus just calling, turkey calling?
Rarely, because and you got to remember though, if you're not using a locator and you go ahead and you're using the Yelp, do not call unless you're in a spot where you can sit down immediately. Because many times in the past, and I've got busted in my earlier years, and I'll still get busted now because I get sloppy sometimes. You go out there and start yelping or cutting, and one will fire off 75 yards. You cannot move, so you better not be in the open. You better sit down right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I was hunting Georgia one time and had a couple birds, and they were in some planted pines. I did not want them they would not come to me. They wouldn't come to a food plot. I don't know, something spooked them before, bobcat, another hunter, whatever. They wouldn't come out. I used the locator call all the way up till bars from them. Then I sat down and did some soft yelps, and they came right in.
Yeah.
It depends. If you're trying to get in position, you use your locator call if you know they're already there.
Right. How about this? Decoys or no decoys?
Open fields, I use the decoy because their eyesight, they'll come out. If you're out there in an open field and they can pinpoint within feet of where you're calling, I don't know how. Coyotes do the same thing. You need decoys. Now, if I'm hunting broken woods or inside the woods, I do not use decoys. I want them to come looking for me.
Yeah.
But a field, you have to use decoy. Otherwise, I've had them hang up way too many times. Every once in a while, you get a bird that come out, look at the decoy, turn around and run, but he's a minority.
Yeah. What about a fan? You ever reaped a bird or used a fan a turkey in?
Scott has used them a lot, and I'm going to put that in my arsenal. And I think I did it one time, and they didn't pay attention to it, but that was just that one bird.
No.
I'm going to try to start using it more because the more tricks you have, the more tools you have to,
That's right. Here's a great question by John. Says, what combination of decoys do you like to use when you're using them?
I like a and been times I've used 2 or 3 hens and a Jake, but and I've used a fan gobbler too, the full blown strut, and I've actually had birds not come into that unless they're dominant birds. They've had their butts kicked.
Yeah. I showed you this last week. I am going to use this joker this year. I got this from Goebel's Hunting Decoys, man. I'm really excited. This is a 2D, real light. I mean, I can put it in my pack. I can pack it in my hand, whatever. But it's a Jake. Of course, you can see this tail fan, and they know, man. These fans, they know a mature bird. It's not a real big. I mean, it's not a real big decoy, but I'm going to use this 2D decoy. Now, I have used the full strutter.
Yep.
And that full strutter sometimes scare maybe a younger or more immature bird off.
100%. I've actually had that happen.
Yeah.
So I one myself personally.
Yeah. I usually carry 2 decoys with me. Sometimes I carry 3, but it's always a hen and a Jake combo.
Yep, that's what I use.
Yeah. Now, as season wears on, I'll leave that Jake out and I'll carry 2 hens.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't want that bird has been, depending on where you're at, that gobbler has been called to. He's probably been beat up on, whether he's won some fights, lost some fights. He's wore down. He's strutted out. He don't want a whole lot of competition. If he can find 2 hens out by themselves and doing some sweet talk, and he looks around and there's no competition, it might be enough, the old wary gobbler, to be able to bring him in. But if he sees some competition, he may be like, you know what? I've done this too many days already. I'm out.
And for heaven's sakes, a group of Jakes come out in the field. I've seen them run a full-blown gobbler off. You get 5 or 6 Jakes.
That's right. Yep, that's exactly right. Great question, John. Thank you for those questions. Man, I mean, we've covered a lot tonight about the only thing we ain't done is done some calling on some calls. But I think it's important for people to understand you got to slow down. You got to be out there. You got to slow down. And there's no textbook to turkey hunt. You can hunt 23 days in Kentucky and you get 23 different hunts.
Yes.
But if you're just out there for a kill, there's a good chance you might be sorely disappointed. Unless, like you said, you're hunting a turkey farm.
Mm-hmm.
So, get out there and enjoy. Slow down. I'm guilty of this, number one. I'm fighting fire, man. Just fighting fire. John Pruitt will tell you right there. I mean, it's John killed a nice gobbler with us, and I mean, I was fighting fire to get to that bird, and it's a good thing we did on that one, because I mean, we kind of located this bird, but we kind of got up where he was at, and we no more than sat down. He was on top of us. But
Yeah.
you know, it's not going to go that way. You're not going to be within killing distance the majority of the days. I mean, slow down, enjoy the hunt, and like I said, do things. Set yourself limits. Say, sit there as long as you can. If there's not any hot action or nothing going, sit there as long as you can. And when you feel that urge to get up, set yourself a limit. 15 minutes. I'm going to give myself 15 more minutes on the watch. When that watch goes off, or when your phone goes off, then I'm going to get up and move. You've showed that much patience, and sometimes it can pay off for you.
And every bird's different. And the same bird could be different on different days.
That's right. That's right. And here's the biggie. It's too easy to not pull the trigger. If we've talked about turkey hunting tactics. We've not even got into the gear as far as pattern your shotguns before you go out. Try different ammo in your gun.
Yes.
We haven't talked about, are you going to, do you use turkey vest? There's all kinds of things we haven't talked about. And up here in our area, ticks are horrible. You better have some permethrin on those clothes. You better treat your clothes.
Yeah. And that stuff works.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. So that's a different talk for a different day.
Yeah. The patterning of the guns and the chokes, everything, like you said, it takes time and a little bit of money, because them shells are not cheap just to shoot at a target.
Nope. That's right.
If you want to get the maximum, what's that word? Not the maximum range, but maximum pattern that is consistent.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, what have we missed? What you got in closing? Great show tonight.
It's been great being on here. Thank you for having me as a guest, and hopefully, people picked up on a few things, and I'm still learning. Every time I go to the woods, I learn. So when somebody asks a question, I think about it, and it's like, yes, I've done this, or no, I haven't. So, you just got to be open to learning. Every little tactic is a tool that you put in your bag.
That's right, man. That's right. And, I'm talking to myself, mistakes. There's going to be, if you're going to stick with turkey hunting, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And some mistakes you don't even know you've made until you go back, or maybe the next year you think about it. I can't tell you how many turkeys I know I can think back on. And I know I got caught moving, but I thought to myself, why'd that turkey just shut up? He just shut up all of a sudden,
And he's coming.
Yeah. And, and it may not even be a deal to where he's seen me yet, but I was impatient, and I moved too soon, and he's out there, and he said, you're not going to see every turkey. They could be 40, 50 yards, and it's hard to see them in the timber. So, get out there. If you make mistakes, it's okay, because every mistake you make, or every hunt that don't go your way, there's something to learn from it to make you a better turkey hunter.
Oh, yes. It takes years to remember your mistakes and learn all the little tricks. And like I said, I've been doing it since the early 90s, and I'm still learning every year.
That's right. That's right. Folks, that's all we got for you tonight on Air and Outdoors. We appreciate you all so much for tuning in. Wayne, I want to say a big thank you to you. Congratulations on that successful hunt there with your buddy from Indiana. Just a great, great job. Y'all do so many good things down there for so many people, and we greatly appreciate you from everything you've done for us.
Thanks for having me, and for being a true friend that you are, buddy.
Yeah, man, right back at you, brother. Folks, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thanks for your support. Remember, if you want to know the creator, look at the creation. And I can tell you right now, there's a whole big world out there for us to enjoy. Get out there. It's a good time right now. Shed hunting. If you're living in elk country, the elk are dropping. deer sheds still to be found. Get out there and turkey scout. There's even people right now finding morel mushrooms up here in this country. So there's something to do already. Get out there and scout for those turkeys. And I got to show this before we leave, man. I almost almost made a big boo. Boy, Matt wouldn't let me live that one down. Right here we go. We've got our Strutting Jakes youth tournament, youth turkey tournament coming up. Registration will be April the 5th. Youth season is April the 6th and 7th. This is a free event. Registration will be April the 5th from 4 to 6 at Ride Direct out on US 23 on the old Holiday Inn Hill. Come and spend a weekend at TLC Outfitters, hunting, prizes, calling contest. Our first check-in will be Saturday from 11 to 1. You can bring those birds in. We're going to measure, take measurements on them and everything. We're going to be having trophies, and everybody should go home with something. We're going to be having some we're going to be giving away some youth model gauges, if you would. I got to be careful what I say on here so we don't get in trouble with some youth model gauges we're going to be giving away. So come out and enjoy that. Mark your calendars right there. Come and see us April the 5th at Ride Direct. Start hunting the 6th and 7th. Final weigh-in and prizes will be on the 7th, probably at 2 o'clock. So everybody make sure to mark your calendars for the Strutting Jakes Youth Turkey Tournament. Right there it is. Also, don't forget to mark your calendars for May 11th, Kentucky's official elk draw, the Kentucky and Outdoor Fest at the Kentucky Gun Company in Bardstown. Over 200 guns to be given away, elk and moose hunt giveaway, Honda side-by-side, ATVs, live music, food and drink, vendor village, archery range. You will see us there. Patrick Hayden has absolutely rolled out a fantastic event right there, and you can see your name go across the screen as one of 500 lucky Kentucky elk tag holders. Make sure you come out. But to get on in all these giveaways right here, you got to go to the Kentucky Elk and Outdoor Fest website and buy. There's a couple different tickets you can buy to get in on all the drawings. Mark your calendar. Come to Bardstown. See us down there. We'll be right there. And last but not least, time is running out, folks. Right here, guided thermal coyote hunts on our show special, $25 off if you book tonight before midnight. We're going to take you out and let you get your hands on these brand new Rick's thermal optics. They are phenomenal. You got till the 31st of this month. Season goes out, but comes back in May 16th through June 30th. We can take you out then. Give us a call today. You can see right here, we can customize this any way that you want, and we're going to take you out and let you shoot some coyotes. So a lot of fun. This guy right here on the show is a coyote killer as well. So that's all I got, Wayne. Thank you. Thank you all out there very much. We'll see you next week right here on air and outdoors with TLC Outfitters. See you later.
Thank you.
Eastern Kentucky, where I was raised, where the wildlife and mountains call my name. I was born to hunt, I was born to guide, a camouflage on a rifle by my side. Just good old country boys chasing dreams,